Hi everyone, welcome to day 5 of my 30-day challenge. Today I added Swagger to my .NET Core web APIs. So first I had to add this swashbuckle ASP.NET Core NuGet package. Then in the startup.cs I added this services.add swagger gen. And down here I added app.useSwagger and app.useSwaggerUI. Basically that means that if I go and open a browser and go localhost and then Swagger, it will show me all my endpoints that I've got configured. So I've added this new COVID endpoint as well today, and that's how I'll be getting my COVID locations of interest for today's challenge. So if I go look at my COVID controller, basically it is consuming the API I created yesterday, which is for my web scraping API, and then it returns it. I also worked on the UI a bit today. I've added this challenge component, which basically gives you information on the challenge, that like day by day breakdown on the challenge, so you can browse my website and see what challenges I've done, what GitHub repos there are, what YouTube videos there are, what tech they cover, basically anything like that. But my main challenge for today was that I wanted to create a COVID locations of interest map where the markers were clustered, and when you zoom in on a cluster it shows the individual markers, and when you click on that it shows an info window with the data about when there were exposure events. So here's how I've done that. I had to connect to the Google Map API, and I used this library, React Google Maps, which is a pretty comprehensive Google Maps port to React. And I also use the React Geocode to convert from address to latitude and longitude. So this is my setup of the map. It's all covered in the React Google Maps documentation, and for each of my locations I want them to be in a marker cluster which automatically clusters them, and I've created a location marker which I pass the location into. And I also load up the data from my COVID controller that I showed you guys earlier. So this is the location marker. So it's a marker, and it has the position of the latitude and longitude that I've got from the geocoding. And it has an info window. I'm using this .state.isOpen to determine whether the info window is visible or not, and when I close it it'll toggle it off, and when I click on the marker it'll toggle it on. It's anchored to the marker, so that's where it shows up. You can see that. I'll just show you my demo now. So first I'm going to show you guys a little bit around what I've done in terms of displaying the challenges to you guys. So the home page is now a list of challenges, and you can click on them to see a bit more info, such as the Git repo, tech that was used, and also the YouTube video. And here's what I actually did today. This is the COVID locations of interest cluster map. So you can now see that there's COVID locations of interest on my map, and they're all clustered. If I click on a marker, it'll show me a bit more info. I can close it. And also if I click on a cluster, it'll zoom me in a bit further, and I can sort of see what's in that area. Here's me clicking on a few more markers. You can see they've still got the info windows. And if I keep zooming out, it'll recluster everything. You can sort of get an idea of what areas are higher risk. So you can see Auckland, our biggest city, has a big cluster there of locations of interest. So yeah, that's what I've done today. You can check out the code on GitHub.